All right, my camera just cut off on me. It's probably because it's too hot. I'll just finish up. Sorry, guys. I know these are long, drawn-out videos, but for people that own this bike, it's just good to know if somebody else been through something and you share that information. So if you experience it, whatever. So anyway, what I was saying was, just to finish up, the bike itself at 5,000 RPM was running rough, hesitant, and it was starting to get a bit bunty, especially after, about a... it was okay if I rode somewhere and stop until I stopped. It seems like it would do it, but when you stop it and let it sit for 5-10 minutes and then get back on it and go, then you seem like it was run. Maybe it was just because it was sitting there. It gets really hot, whatever. It didn't run rough at the 5,000, but it also ran rough at the upper, like 5, 7, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000. It's just because your RPMs are up higher, you don't notice it as much, but you can hear it. It's a weird hesitant. Now, cleaning out the plugs, plug number 4 was really gunked up. That could have been it. So again, process of elimination. The only other things it could be is maybe I got a weak coil. Obviously the plugs, once I change the plugs in this thing, I'll know for sure if it was the plugs or not. The other thing it could be is the... maybe I got a leaky head gasket, maybe I've got a bent valve, or the timing is out. The only other thing after that, it comes down to the fuel mapping and the ECU. Is what it is. I mean, it is an old bike. It is running good, but it still has a little bit of hesitant. I think if I notice a difference after doing all that stuff, what it's telling me is that it's probably most likely going to be the plugs, because it runs better right now. Not a lot, well, actually a lot better, actually. But it still has that hesitance. So I think maybe it's just the plugs get weak after a while in this bike. It depends how you ride. If you guys out there, this is my first sport bike, right? And it's also my first fuel injection bike. If you guys have a lot of experience with this, it'd be nice for people to know, regardless of the brand of bike, if you find that some of your bikes were really hard on plugs. That kind of stuff. Because right now, maintenance-wise, I mean, this bike is... I maintain this bike quite well. And I know some people are going to kill me for saying this, but this bike is actually more maintenance than a Harley. It's like, it's not hard maintenance, it's upkeep maintenance. But then when you think about it, you've got pretty much entry-level supercar performance for $3 to $4 grand. So yeah, you're going to have to do something. You want to play, you're going to have to pay. I just want to be able, I don't have to pay until the end of the season. You know what I mean? Just get me through the season. I'm too broke to have to fix things. But it was nice. Felt good to get back out and run. I can't believe I've been off the road for 9 days. That's like some sort of... Struggle is real, people. The struggle is real. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. So that's this series for now. Any other maintenance I do on this bike, you'll see it. This winter, I got a few ideas of what I want to do this winter. I think I want to take this bike right down to everything. Grease, do the wheel bearings, do the head bearings, all that. So just do it all, Keep the bike as running prestige as possible. I wouldn't mind even pulling off the heads just to see how the head gasket is doing, if there's any leaks in there. Obviously I want to get a compression checker, see how that's doing. I don't really care about the dyno, that type of stuff. This bike may become a track bike someday, but I love it too much to do that. But the problem is it's so expensive for the insurance on this bike. $1,350 for just the plate, and then another $130 for the the PLPD regular insurance. So it's not a bike that is economic that way. But it's not like I don't get the use out of it. Again, I'm on ride number 45 today. My goal is 200 runs this year, so that means I'm going to have to, for the past couple of days that I missed, I'm going to have to do 2 runs a day to count. What normally counts as a run is basically 1 run a day. I usually 10, 20, 30 kilometers, go and come back. So that's what I count as a run. Just to see how much mileage I'm going to get on it, So I'm going to leave it at that. Again, if you have a TT600, this is the channel you're going to want to follow. Also, too, smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If something catastrophic happens to this bike and it fails through, and I don't get it through the season, that'll suck. But it is a bike I really like. They handle so nice. Like I've ridden other sport bikes, not a lot of other sport bikes, but a few other sport bikes. They didn't handle as smooth as this thing. That's the thing, that when you get to know your bike, that first 10,000 kilometers where you're really getting to know the bike, you don't really get to know it until you've tweaked every nut and bolt on it, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The thing is that if you know what the bike needs and play a process of elimination, you can maintain the bike and don't let it get bad. And that's why I took the bike apart, because if I just kept riding it, it could cause other damage, which might be too expensive to repair. And with these old bikes, here's what you have to keep in mind. The bike is cheap. Okay, the bike is cheap. The parts are expensive. And what that means is, are you going to spend on a $3,000 to $4,000 bike? I got about, it was $3,000, and then with the taxes and all, about $4,000. Okay, with the, by the time you have it, all that stuff. Okay, yes, you're going to replace the brakes. You might replace the rotors, the fork seals, the chains, the sprockets. Yeah, you'll spend money on that because whatever. But if it's a bike you're thinking of selling in a couple of, I can't see myself selling this bike. It's too unique. Not that there isn't other ones out there, but it's just people are starting to really get to know my bike because of the flames. But if you had to replace a fuel pump that was like, say, $300 or $700, would you spend it on a bike? That's like 1/3 of the price of the bike. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Pass home. Here we go. It runs. Yeah. It runs and rides. Yeah, I think it's running a little bit smoother, so I think the plugs were probably what the problem was. Yeah. Oh, Lacey's coming out for the ice cream.
I got your ice cream, Lacey.
That's the fastest I've seen her move today.